Okay, so welcome. Today we are talking about wealth by design, the money mechanics of human design. So type in the chat if you are new to human design, how long you've been learning it, what caught your eye about this training. And I'll go ahead and share my slides. Okay. Can you guys see me and the slides? It's being slow for a sec. Hi, Jessica. Okay. Sure, we're good. Okay. All right, welcome everyone to Wealth by Design, learning more about your money mechanics. So today's workshop, we're going to be going over some of the basics of human design and then some parts that are a little bit more advanced. So if anything feels like it's a little bit heavy or a little bit confusing, I can answer some questions at the end, and so we will get started. Computer's struggling a little bit. Okay. So first, let's settle in. If you've been in some of the other classes today, we settle into our body, settle into the moment. And again, with this class, it's more information heavy, more we're in our minds. But if we can start with just settling in, arriving, asking ourselves how much of us is fully here. And take some nice, slow, deep breaths. Maybe you want to close your eyes and just settle into your hips and pelvis, calling all of you in and trusting that whatever arises and resonates for you in the class is for what you need at this time. And with human design, it's always take what resonates, and some things maybe you'll put on the back burner and maybe later you study more about it and something clicks in, or sometimes it's too simplified for your unique design going over certain principles. So listen to your inner authority, listen to your body, and see if something resonates with you. Okay. So if we are new to each other, I'm Michelle Joy. I am a Divine Wealth Embodiment Coach. I help entrepreneurs and the rising leaders, which has a lot to do with my human design and also being a projector and learning about human design and the evolution, the new way of the world going forward, essentially, to heal relationship, money, and visibility blocks so that leaders can live their purpose and create a successful business with it. This is what I really love to do. So I've been studying human design for 5 years. And then like with the other classes, somatic dance, energy healing, which is a lot of the projector design of guiding energy. All right, so today we're talking about quantum mechanics. So it's nice to look at human design through this lens of it's actually quite scientific. The energy dynamics of human design, it's actually quite a science to it. It's a mix of astrology, the Kabbalah, the I Ching, and quantum physics. So combined together, it's this really beautiful soul map of who you are born to be, how you were designed on designed from birth, and it creates this beautiful sacred geometry of who you are. So it's so valuable to understand this about who you are in terms of creating abundance, because you are turning your energy, your natural energy, into currency for exchange with others. So tell me how that sounds. And again, if you need a chart, you can get one on my website. I think everybody here has a chart, but if you're watching the replay and you need a chart, you can get it on my site. All right, so first we're going to talk about following your strategy and authority. So these are the two most foundational and important parts of learning your human design: your strategy and authority. So when you are aligned with living in your strategy and authority, life feels more like in flow, like this river, right? Things are just going more effortlessly. You're feeling better, you're feeling more in flow, feeling more in your zone of genius. And when we are going against our strategy and authority, things can feel like you're running into a wall, you're coming up against obstacles. It feels like other people are doing the exact same thing as you, and for some reason, it's not translating to success for you. So let me know in the chat if that resonates, if you've ever experienced anything like that. Okay. So if you can choose who you want to be in your wealth identity, would you prefer to be in the old school model? The way society has been conditioned a lot was work hard, hustle, grind, push, till you get success, and then you can relax, then you can live, then you can enjoy life. And oftentimes in that model, people are going against their natural strengths, their natural energy, and then certain aspects of their life might fall apart, right? So if you're always pushing, you may find that you reach financial success, but your relationships aren't going well, or you're out of line with your values and other things are falling apart. So that's how some people have lived, right? But there's a new paradigm, and especially with human design growing and becoming more available to learn and really understand your individual path to success. This is the way the world is going, and it's, really this positive, beautiful thing that more and more people are going to fully understand themselves and be able to live a life aligned with their purpose as well as with wealth. So this is the new school success, the aligned way to be in success, aligned with who you are, your values, your life purpose, your strategy and authority. So tell me if this speaks to you. Comment below how that sounds. Okay, so money mechanic number 1. Let me check the chat real quick. Okay, yes. Love it. All right, so money mechanic number 1. Your aura type. So first you want to look on your chart, your aura type. If you are a generator, manifesting generator, projector, manifestor, or reflector. And I will be going over each of these individually here in a few moments. So this is money mechanic number 1. Again, looking at this as it's not really personal, it's more of a science, more of a physical geometry of the way your energy works, a mechanic. So it's this permission to be yourself, to sink into yourself, what's aligned with you. And this is what we're first going to look at. So comment if you are a generator. So a generator, you are defined with a sacral center, this square, this purple square. This is the sacral center, and this provides consistent life force energy for generators and manifesting generators. And so in your chart, if it is colored in, if it is defined, this means you are putting energy out. You have this consistent access to tap into energy in this center in your chart. And so generators are known for having this vitality, this energy to be able to have a certain amount of energy to work and burn off throughout the day so that they can be in a state of satisfaction. So for generators, your signature, when you're in alignment, when you're in your high expression, is this sense of innate satisfaction. And so what's key for generators is to lean into what lights you up as a generator, what feels really juicy, really exciting, and noticing when things come to you in life, opportunities arise or questions come up, what your gut instinct, what your sacral feels like. It may be a yes, it may be a uh-huh. It's this feeling that you want to lean into, or you don't. Your body kind of gives you a clue of like, it doesn't want to, it doesn't want to do this. Then it's not going to be, you're not going to be as lit up. And so your strategy as a generator is noticing what's coming to you, what opportunities, what invitations, and how your sacral responds, what clues it's giving you. The strategy to respond to life. And so the tricky thing for noticing your authority for all the types is that we've been conditioned to make decisions with our mind, to be very logical, very strategical, doing pros and cons. And so human design is quite different in that it is giving you your power back to trust the wisdom of your body, to be your very best guide, to trust in your inner authority instead of listening to the gurus, listening to, all of this mental chatter and that type of stuff. All right, so if you're a generator, let us know if this resonates, that you can sense when you're doing what lights you up, what you're passionate about, that you feel more in this satisfaction state rather than in frustration. Frustration is the not self theme of the generator. And so in terms of being magnetic with abundance, generators really leaning into topics that bring them passion, that provide sensuality, desire, play. This type of energy is really magnetic for generators to share. And you have a very open and enveloping aura as a generator that just feels really sunny for people to be around and draws things to you. All right, let's read the comments. Yes, this resonates. Okay, amazing. Next, we will talk about manifesting generators. So this is a subtype of generator that is a bit of a blend of a manifester and a generator. And so you also have this defined sacral, and the same things apply to you about being a generator, of leaning into what lights you up, is what provides you with that sustainable energy to be able to work and to have this sustained energy that you want to burn off and want to feel at the end of the day, that you feel really complete. And also with this motor to the throat. So if you have a manifesting generator, will have this motor to the throat as well. And the throat is also the center for manifestation. And so manifesting generators tend to be multi-passionate, tend to be quick, and they kind of have this magnetic ability to just get things done in their own unique, magical way. It's like, how did they do that? How did they do that so fast? And other types may just not understand how you're doing that, or they may say that you're doing too much, or you have too many projects going on, or things like that. But for a manifesting generator, you possibly really like being multi-passionate, having the ability to bounce around on what lights you up and what you're into at that time. So that might be very aligned for you as a manifesting generator. So if there's any manifesting generators, go ahead and type in the chat if this resonates for you. All right. And so in business, this can be really a really beautiful entrepreneurial energy to understand about yourself. You may not want to just pick one specific thing that is your thing that is sometimes recommended in business, but to trust in yourself, trust in your inner authority of what lights you up, and follow your own strategy to respond to opportunities. And then informing is when you know that it's what you want to go for, you've gotten the clarity, you've gotten the sacral yes, you then go for it and tell other people what you are doing, what your plan is. And this helps them to not be in the dark in your relationships, to be able to communicate when you have this clarity. All right, so next we have projectors. This is what I am. I'm a projector. So who else is a projector? So projectors have an open sacral, and they have an aura that goes into the other. It's this, projectors kind of have a blind spot about themselves a little bit, as we're meant to see others deeply and be guides for the new paradigm. In human design, they talk about this shift in the upcoming years in 2027, and that projectors are the upcoming guides, more sensitive to energy. As you probably have noticed if you're on this call, energy healing and feminine leadership and human design of understanding individuality, these types of things are growing. And this is aligned with the projectors being the upcoming guides of the future in this world of energy and this type of topic. So the strategy for projectors is to wait for the invitation. But a lot of times when projectors learn this, it can be kind of too simplified. And so it's not about waiting for the invitation for every little thing in life, but specifically waiting for the invitation to give guidance is a good way of looking at it. Because for projectors, you probably have noticed, you often see, since you're looking at others and noticing what's going on and have this big view picture of what's going on in society, what's going on in dynamics in communities and groups you're part of, wanting to interject, wanting to help, wanting to intervene. But if others don't recognize and invite you to give the guidance, to correct energy, to help people, then it's often goes unnoticed, and this leads the projector into bitterness. So bitterness is the not self theme for projectors, and with all of the not self themes, they are actually signposts. They're actually helpful for us to understand, okay, if I'm feeling frustration, if I'm feeling bitterness, as not just like a passing, we all have everyday emotions and these types of things, but if it is coming from a situation where we didn't listen to our inner authority, or it's becoming this kind of chronic state, then you can notice, take clues of, okay, where did I not listen to my inner authority? Where did I not follow my strategy? And then feel this bitterness or this frustration. And understanding those clues can help you to prevent that, so you can be more in alignment, more sinking back into who you are, more in a state of success, and more magnetic to wealth and abundance for all the types as we follow our strategy and authority. All right, so tell me, for projectors, if that resonates with you. And also, it's important to rest and recognize yourself as a projector, noticing the ebbs and flows of energy as you have this open sacral, being more receptive and less consistent in your energetic output, more following your own rhythm with it. Okay, next we have manifestors. If anyone is a manifestor watching, go ahead and type it in the chat. Okay, amazing. So manifestors, they are initiators, innovators, and their aura is sometimes called as repelling, which it's more like a closed aura, more doing their own thing more often type of energy. And manifestors are often perceived as powerful, as wanting to do their own thing and independent. And their signature state is peace. They want to be able to do their own thing and be in peace. And so they may have a harder time with being told what to do. And if you are a parent, learning your kids' types is super helpful. I have kids that are all the different types except for a reflector. And so learning their designs has been super helpful for me. So manifestors, they just enjoy having their own space and their own independence, really value this a lot. And their not self theme is anger. And so for a manifestor as an entrepreneur, trusting your own unique path, often being more of a type of trailblazer. I've seen manifestors talk about, wanting to do something completely different in the entrepreneurial space, but they haven't seen anybody else do it. That's like a good sign for a manifestor. If they're charting their own path, they're coming up with these innovative ideas, those types of things. All right. So next is reflectors. Reflectors are very rare. They have no colored incenders. And they're these beautiful mirrors to society to reflect back the environment. And they have this ability to read others and be very wise. Basically, any of the white centers in your chart, whatever type you are, the white centers are places where you pick up and receive energy and information. And so these centers can take a lot of practice, wisdom, healing, deconditioning to be open and receptive in your white areas, and not trying to force them to be different than they are. So reflectors have a unique strategy in that they actually need a lot of time to process. For really big decisions, a lunar cycle is recommended to process and make sure they're not being pressured by others for influencing their decision what's best for them. Okay, so that is a bit about strategy and authority. Money mechanic number 2 is your inner authority. So this is the part of your body, the design of your makeup, of what guides you into aligned decisions in life. And again, with human design, what's so wonderful about it is it's an experiment with building deep self-trust. And so it takes a lot of time to practice this, putting the mind on the back burner a little bit and feeling into the body. What does my body want to guide me with this decision, and reflecting back on times when you made decisions with your inner authority versus when you didn't, and the patterns of how that played out, what's been best for you in your life. And again, when we listen to our inner authority, this is going to lead us to the greatest abundant opportunities, the greatest paths for making money, aligned relationships, etc. Okay, so if you have a mental authority, this is specific to projectors. What is helpful for a mental authority projector is to be able to soundboard and speak with someone you trust, to not be pressured on making those important decisions, but to be able to, as you speak and soundboard, notice what resonates and what rings true for you, taking your time. Very similar to a self-projected authority, which is a defined G. This is in the chest at the top of the square right here, the identity center, which is related to your purpose and who you are. And so if you have a defined G center, speaking out about what resonates with you and your identity and the direction you want to take, the truth of who you are, can help give you clarity as you share and express this as well with others in soundboarding. Listening for what resonates with you, not necessarily their feedback and opinion, but someone who can hold space for you to get clarity for yourself. And then ego authority, this is also known as the heart center. And so with this authority, it is really allowing yourself to follow what your heart wants without judgment. This is the center also of willpower and resources and money. And so comment in the chat if you have a defined ego. Even if this isn't your inner authority, but you have a defined ego, you may also resonate with this giving yourself permission for in business and creating money and wanting certain physical things, that's okay. And that can be aligned for you, and not to judge yourself with that. And next, is the splenic authority. So splenic authority is this intuitive, instinctive body wisdom. It is the defined spleen. And so this is also somewhat of a subtle energy that takes practice to notice, listening to it, hear how it speaks to you. It's often in the moment and needs silence. And so being in nature, making sure you have enough time to really have space to listen to your body, helps with this authority. So comment if that resonates for you. I'm a splenic authority, and that's what helped me a lot was, thinking back on my life, times when I've felt that instinctive in the moment impression and ways that has helped me versus when I've listened to my mind to override something seeming irrational or out of left field. Because quite often our inner authority will be different than what our logical mind or others' advice is. All right, so sacral authority is, again, what we talked about earlier with this get yes or no, this wanting to move with it, wanting to open and expand to the aligned things. And then emotional authority is a little bit trickier in that when you have a defined emotional center, a defined solar plexus, then in your chart, if you have a defined emotional solar plexus, you have innate emotional highs and lows, times when there's more melancholy, times when there's more excitement. And being okay with that. Sometimes it doesn't really seem to have a reason. It just has a wave of your emotional experiences, and that is okay, and that is normal and natural for you. And that waiting for a place of neutrality for your wave to be settled, taking some time to not make a decision when you're in the height of your wave or in the low, but you've had time to feel into neutrality before making your decisions. So if you're a generator, when the emotional wave is neutral, then you're probably more able to hear the sacral, to feel the sacral when your emotions are in a neutral place. All right. So let me know if that resonates for you. Money mechanic 3, this is your profile. So comment below if you know your profile numbers in human design. I'm going to go into the profile numbers and what they mean. So your profile is like your personality, your costume, your role, how you interact with others. So this is obviously very important in business and networking, in relationships, that when you are aligned in your natural sense of who you are, your natural innate gifts, the way that you teach, the way you express, the way people see you as this magnetic aura personality, then that really aligns with natural abundance in your marketing, right? So it's really related with marketing. Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, so if you have your chart, I can show you what your profile lines are: 5-2, 6-2, 5-1. So at the top of your chart, it also should say on your chart your profile line, but if you have the numbers, is this top line, the decimal number. So mine says 5.2, the 0.2 is my first line. And then on the other side, 0.4, the 4 is my second line. So I'm a 2-4 projector. So these are the different profile lines. And so what's awesome, as you embody your profile line, you give yourself permission to really own your strengths, to notice the ways that others want to give you certain roles, or different ways that help you stand out in business. And so understanding that and then learning what other people's profiles are helps you to know, okay, this person would probably be a good partner for me in this area, or we could collab really well in this area. So it's helpful for deeply understanding yourself and in your marketing and knowing your strengths, and also in your relationships with others. So there's 2 aspects to your chart: your personality side and your design side. So the first line of your profile is often, when you learn about it and you learn the different lines, you're like, oh yes, I resonate with that. That's totally me. I've always, kind of seen myself that way. And the second half of your line is usually more unconscious. It's the body design, the unconscious design. And so it's often like, really, I'm like that. I'm this line. And that's how people actually see you more often than you see yourself. So it can be really helpful as you decondition and heal and understand your profile. You're healing these fears, and you're turning on this magnetic energy and this deep authenticity. Authenticity and truth is like one of the most magnetic things, right? Because people resonate with when they hear truth. People resonate with when they feel authenticity. Okay. All right, so line 1 is the investigator. So if you have a line 1, let us know if you resonate with this. Line 1s often want this foundational base of knowledge, this research, and really wanting to understand like complexity and depth. They often make really great teachers because they will go into depth on things and have this ability to be an expert in their specific niche. So in business, this can be really helpful for a line one to embody that they have this natural ability to go deep into topics and provide wisdom for others even deeper than most people tend to want to go for themselves. So that's kind of the simplified version on all of these, but let us know if you resonate with that. There's also themes for each line to be aware of so that they can see if they are going too much into a fear state with this. So for a line one, being cautious of, am I over prepping? Am I doing too much instead of trusting myself that I already know enough? I already am ready to put myself out there and share my wisdom. And I may like to continue studying, but at a certain point, teaching what others don't know for themselves yet, you're one step ahead. So line two is the hermit. And so this is this talented, natural, they call it like the natural type of genius energy that the line two has, and others recognize about them and want to learn from them, want to know how they do it. And the line two often doesn't really, it's this natural ability. So they can't always explain how they do it. They just do what they're talented at. They may be pick things up easily, or it's this like body wisdom. And they also, it has the name of the hermit, which some of the names in human design are a bit silly. Some resonate, some don't. But the hermit being this more introverted energy, needing some alone time, and sometimes just really being lit up with their own innate talents and the things they're really passionate about. And so needing time to themselves to cultivate their talents and enjoy their alone time. So when they can be in their other line, they have been refueled. So if you have a line two, let me know if you resonate with that. In terms of generating wealth, the line two may like to set up ways that they don't have to always be out in the spotlight, but that they can have revenue coming in just from things they've created and put out there, so that they don't feel like they have to always be on and out. Yeah. So next is the line three, the martyr. So this is an energy all about like trial and error and experimenting and sharing your experiences, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, and having this wisdom, this lived experience. So in terms of business and making money, this could be a really beautiful storytelling in your social media and sharing your insights. And it's going to feel really authentic and relatable, and people will sense like the truth of you sharing your experience and you being someone who can help them skip some of the harder steps, some of the lessons you've learned. All right, so line four is the opportunist. So this is this networking, this community connections, really caring about loyalty and mutual support, deep relationships. And so for a line four in business, a lot of times having referrals, a referral program, affiliates, working on projects where you can co-create, being a guest on podcasts, things like that, where you are utilizing this ability to network. And again, a lot of these things, can work for multiple different types and profile lines, but this is one example of what can work really well for the line four. So tell me if you are line four, how that resonates for you. if you like being in community. And then line 5, the heretic, this is often perceived as a hero type of energy. So people really like to look to those with a line 5 as they somewhat project and sense that you have the solution, you have the answers. And so this is very magnetic in business, in positioning yourself as someone who does have the answer, someone who does have this ability to help. And with it comes this balance of needing boundaries so that people aren't putting too much on you, and you have the ability to sense when others are at times putting negative projections on the line 5. This is something the line 5 often needs to be aware of if at times you feel like others aren't understanding you or misunderstanding you, coming back into yourself, giving yourself this sense of self-trust and that it's okay to be misunderstood, and really owning the strengths of who you are and selective in your partnerships. All right, and then last is the line 6, the role model. So this has the potential to be this really wise, embodied leader, being the most wise of what they've experienced. It goes through phases of experiment, like the line 3, having a phase of trial and error, taking some time back to really process what they've learned in their life, and then often in their older years, being their most embodied, the role model, often one of the lines that the other lines look to as an example of how they got to where they are. And so this is a really wonderful energy in business to be able to showcase this sense of being a guide, of being a role model, and of having solutions from your life experience and their lifestyle. Okay, so now we are going into money mechanic number 4. This one is more of an in-depth aspect to human design. So if you have, this may be new to you, even if you've been learning human design for a little while. Let me just check the chat real quick. All right. Okay, Sharon, why is this called the martyr? So if you have a line 3 in your profile, on your chart, there should be this number that tells you if you have a 3 in your profile. And the martyr being that they've gone through trial and error, and in the low expression feel like, oh, I've had these failures, and in the high expression, these failures have really given you this advantage of all the wisdom you've gained from learning by trial and error. Okay, so the circuitry. All right, so in human design, the different lines create what's called the circuitry, the connection of your energy centers. And so your circuitry is a really important aspect of the energy you bring across, the energy that other people sense in you. Your channels being the lines in your chart. There's a part that says your channels, and you may have one channel, you may have like 4 channels. So let me know if you see your channels on your chart. There are these lines connecting 2 different centers. And basically what these lines are categorized into 3 different main groups. Individual circuitry, which means that you have this energy to be an individual, to be in an empowered state, to showcase to others, this is what independence looks like. This is what following what's best for you, being your own individual, leading with your lifestyle. Those type of things are really aligned for someone with individual circuitry. And so if you have individual circuitry in your chart and you are told, in the coaching industry or you're in business, to be someone you're not and to do these other type of aspects that don't really align with you, it can feel like you're working against yourself or judging yourself for being this way. And so it just really gives you this permission slip to follow in making money what is aligned for you. So it's kind of hard to go into all the different channels on these types. But if you want, you can send me a message if you have a question and I can tell you what kind of circuitry. After the training, just send me a DM and I can help you. So tribal circuitry is more about the tribe, community. If you have tribal circuitry, you're naturally going to want to provide more of the support, the coaching type of aspect, holding space, and really more of this like nurturing energy is going to be more natural in these tribal circuitries. And then the collective circuitry is about logic and logic, understanding, abstract, and sensing. And so this is about you're seeing the big picture, what's going on in the world. You're learning and studying these different concepts, drawing connections, and seeing what's missing in society that you can bring your wisdom to share to correct for the larger collective. What's missing in the collective that they're not seeing. So it's this teaching energy. This could be in terms of like making money. This could be, YouTube. It could be teaching workshops. It could be writing books, really enlightening others with this information that you are seeing conserve for the greater good. All right, so let me know how that sounds, what you think of this topic so far. As you can see, this is kind of a deeper part, but once you understand this, it could be so transformational for understanding your natural strengths and how you like to serve and what feels really good to you. And again, you can take what resonates and try it on, experiment with it. All right, so these are the money mechanics that we went over for today. Again, learning your design is about embodying the strengths of your unique definition, the colored in parts of your chart, and healing and deconditioning ways that you've judged yourself or compared yourself to others. And in your open areas of your chart, the path is about releasing what's not really you and being able to have wisdom so that these white centers you're really wise from, and noticing if you're picking up energy and being able to discern your boundaries and what's yours and what someone else's. So it's quite a process, but it's so valuable, so helpful. And as you do this, you are paid to be you. You're paid for being yourself, for living in your purpose, and it can be easy and flowy. So tell me how that sounds. And makes sense. Does the color line have to be a full line or a half line? So a channel is a full line. And then half lines are also, those gates are activated and they're part of your design and they're part of your strengths. If you have a half line, a lot of times you'll be drawn to someone who has the other half, and they call this an electromagnetic channel. So sometimes a friend or a romantic partner, you'll have one or more electromagnetic channels quite often. Not always, but this can be quite often because it kind of gives you this sense of like, you complete me. And that also is the case a lot with the defined centers and working with your clients. A lot of times people would be drawn to your defined centers, your colored in centers, and they have the white in the opposite. So it's not black and white, but a lot of times this is quite often. So you can bring into your marketing the strengths of your centers, and people will sense the authenticity, the magnetic truth of, oh, this is something you're really good at. This is what the energy you give off, how you can help me, how you can teach me how you do this, that type of thing. So when I'm working deeply with clients, we go into, more of these deeper aspects of your chart, your defined centers, the colored in ones, the defined channels or the full lines, the gates, when it has a half, all of these gates, every single number in your chart, with each correlating planet can give so much insight. So like I said, it's a very deep rabbit hole, but it is very, very fun. And you also can use it for branding and so much. So, all right, so that is everything. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I will be teaching part 2 in Wealth Embodiment School. I'll be announcing more about that tomorrow.